Americans have been taught, that empires and imperialism are something that other countries do. When I was in the 6th grade, my teacher said to us, the United States is the only advanced country that does not have colonies. We do not have colonies. And we'd look on this big, we had this big map, and there'd be these of the United States, and there'd be these box inserts all around the sides. There'd be Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines. These were not independent, and nor were they states yet. In fact, Puerto Rico is still owned by the U.S. So we'd say to her, Miss Myers, what are these blocks here? What are those? Aren't those our colonies? She said, the United States does not have colonies. It has territories or possessions. So, see, that's the magic of words. You wish away, or you define away, all sorts of brutal histories and realities by just using a different word. You got the administration today in Washington saying that the Geneva Convention does not apply to the people who are being held in captivity under very bad conditions at Guantanamo by the United States, because they're not prisoners of war. They're enemy combatants. But you know, enemy combatant incarcerated by your military, that's the definition of a prisoner of war. That's what a prisoner of war is. You get the enemy's combatant and you make prisoners out of them. It's interesting how terms are now just being used to wish away things and situations. And this has happened with empire as with any of these other deceptions. The denial of empire in the U.S. was made easier by the rather early innovation of what's called Neo-Imperialism or Neo-Colonialism. Imperialism is the thing that empires do. So all those years when the communists were saying the U.S. is a capitalist imperialist nation, and we used to say, oh, a lot of commie rhetoric, turns out it's true. We are. We go out and we control, not we, they, the people who run this country, go out and control other places. But much of that control with the American empire in the very early stage was neo-colonial or neo-imperialist. And neo-imperialism was practiced, for instance, with Cuba. In 1905, after controlling Cuba for about 7 years, direct occupation with U.S. troops, the Americans turned around to the Cubans and said, look, we stole you fair and square from the Spaniards in a war which the Spaniards didn't even want to fight. They were willing to negotiate and leave Cuba and all that, but we really didn't want them to leave because then we'd have no excuse to invade you and invade the Philippines and take that from Spain and invade Puerto Rico, invade Guam, annex the Hawaii Islands, all these things that we did. So we stole you fair and square, but it doesn't look so good, we being a republic and a democracy, doesn't look so good to have a colony. So he says, oh, we're going to give you your independence, and you're going to have your own flag. It's going to be red, white, and blue, but you get only one star because you're just a little island, you know. And you'll have your own money. You won't have to use U.S. dollars. You can use pesos or whatever you want, and you can put your own leaders on your money. You don't have to have George Washington. We're flex on this. You can have that. You have your Guardia Civile who will take care, make sure the people stay in line and crack heads. And if they can't do it that well, we have a little clause here in this treaty which says the U.S. Marines can come in any time to clean house on you. And so your own independence, you can continue to speak Spanish even. How's that? And the only thing you do for us in exchange is we will continue to control and own your tobacco industry, your sugar industry, and control all your imports and exports and your nickel mines and your oil refineries and all your relationships with third nations, you know, other nations other than us. We will have a final say on all of that. So you're independent. enjoy. Go out there and enjoy. So what you do is you give them the husk of independence, the shell of it, and you just take the substance of it. That's what neo-imperialism is like.